Expertise is a person who has a comprehensive and authoritative knowledge of or skill in a particular area. Excellence is when you take expertise and go out and perform it in the world. What is it that would make you feel successful? Being happy. That's a really good one. It's a broad one. But that is one that I think many of us share. I did something right because it's not repeating. That endless repeat we feel that's going to happen. My child's going to be as anxious as I was. I mean, I waited until I was 27 to begin to address my emotional regulation. But my 5-year-old can already tell you, if you said to her, how do you calm your body down? She'd say, I can take my breaths or I can draw. She has 2 ways. She can't always do them, but she knows that she has some element of control over her emotions, which I don't think I even imagined existed until I was 27. If you can come to your children and give them ideas of what success really means to you, of what you will find really success, that actually your happiness is a big part of your success. If you are not thoughtful about what success is going to be, your kids will pick it up like a bad thing on the street. Self-esteem. Self-esteem is a very complicated topic. It's very hard to define. It's gone through kind of hills and valleys of people thinking it's more or less important. It has some importance. It's highly correlated with well-being in life. But self-esteem, one of the definitions that I like, is made up of 3 qualities: confidence, competence, and connectedness. And connectedness is actually a combination of both meaning and relationships. Achievement and success are very useful when it comes to our kids developing some self-esteem, feelings of competence, feelings of confidence. But kids are not mini adults, and they're often not aware of their successes. They'll glance over them. It's our job often to help them savor them, to make them aware of them. Carol Dweck, who I brought up much earlier in these lectures, has a very simple intervention. It's 2 things. She goes into schools, she splits people up into cases and controls. The cases, she teaches 2 simple things. The brain is a muscle. It grows the more you use it, effort. And she teaches that learning, when you learn, you have to make mistakes. Prodigies are particularly good at, they take in everything around them. It's not that their IQs are so high. They're actually often normal. It's just that they're very good at taking in the world around them and incorporating it with what they already know. They do not mind feedback. And the Tiger Mom philosophy is that, if you work really hard your whole life and you have enormous success, you will then have happiness. There's enormous advantage to having a lot of positive emotions. And we've talked about this the whole class. We've talked about the value of positive emotions with parenting. If you really want to be able to discipline your kids, you need to actually have such a wonderful relationship with them first so that they can handle the discipline. So they'll be interested in a timeout, because if you have a terrible relationship with your kid and you put them in a timeout, they're like, fine, I'm not with you. But if your kid's really connected to you and you put them in a timeout, they're going to be like, ooh, that stings a little bit. That's a bummer. You are more willing to pursue, try, and stick to new goals. It's been a really fascinating thing. When they do studies of both kids and adults, and I give you a new goal and I've primed you with positive emotions, you're more likely to do it. It actually changes the way you think. It's activating, for most of us, the left sides of our prefrontal cortex. The parents who developed really successful, talented kids, their houses were like curiosity laboratories when they were young. They were really fun houses. The kids were making a lot of noise. They were plunking on things. The artists were drawing everywhere, and the parents kept the supplies going. If they saw that their kid liked painting, they set up a painting corner. So that's the beginning. The beginning is enormous curiosity, enormous playfulness, and the parents engaging with them the whole time. The first teacher that a kid gets, the last thing that's important about that teacher is how good the teacher is at that skill. It could be a swimming coach who has never swum before. The only thing that's important is that they connect well with the kid. In the early phase of learning, you just want somebody who makes it fun for the kid. If your kid has a particular talent in a field that you notice, one of you wants to be there, if you can. Make it on a weekend. Go on the weekend. But if you can be at that lesson and then carry through with it during the week, that's what these kids had in common. The parents also had very specific qualities. The parents, by the way, were not particularly wealthy. They found no significant correlation with wealth, but the families were go-getters. Both parents were usually people who did stuff. They did not have a lot of passive activities. These were not people who relaxed all weekend and watched TV the whole weekend, and they didn't play a lot of video games either. These parents did believe very strongly, much as the Tiger Mom did, in doing one's best, but not in always being the best. Eventually, when kids move on to that second phase of talent development, they would not say it for any other phase of their life, but they would expect their kid to be the best in their field. They would work very hard at that. The 10,000 hours is actually just part of something called deliberate practice. And deliberate practice is made up of these qualities, right? It's made up of not just 10,000 hours of trying your best, but of setting goals. Goals are really special. When people write down their goals, they are capable of persevering longer, of becoming motivated when they write them down, not just when they think them in their head. When you actually go and write, who here writes down your goals? Grit. Grit are goals that you pursue passionately in the long term. And when asked how you should choose your goals, she said, choose easy, work hard. Choose the thing that when you wake up in the morning, it makes you pop out of bed. Goals have an enormous amount of subjective well-being. When you achieve a goal, you feel great about yourself. It doesn't just help you pursue things longer. People who consistently achieve goals have much higher levels of well-being. You need to have a mentor in life. We've talked about this, about the parent being a coach, to observe, to judge, and then to guide. But this is the big part about the coach. The coach is the one who gives the immediate feedback. We have to teach our kids how to be able to tolerate feedback. And the way we do that is by constantly drumming into them the idea that you learn to fail or you fail to learn. There is a proper time to do work, and that's in the morning. Work comes before play. Set goals, give your kids deliberate practice, talk to them about what success is for you so that somebody else doesn't define success. I think it's pretty easy to take one thing from this talk. Setting a goal with your kid, write it down, put it on the refrigerator. Your refrigerator has so many uses. I do more work with people in their refrigerators than any other child psychiatrist. And thank you so much for coming, everybody. Thank you.